Yo Gotti, The Art of Hustle, and I actually, our first listen, it was different. You know what I mean? It definitely, subject matter wise, it topped what I Am, the album was, but it still has them records to where it's like, damn, why did you put that on here? You know, it didn't really make sense because you could tell he's reaching for something different. Now we all know that Down in DM, his first number one record, and congratulations to him on that. But I still don't fuck with that song. The remix, I don't fuck with that either. Nicki Minaj verse, to me, it didn't help none really. But at the end of the day, a lot of people say, damn, was she kind of sneak this and Meek on that? But nevertheless, you got features on here from K. Michelle, Lil Wayne, E40, Timbaland, Future, Pusha T, Two Chains, and of course Nicki Minaj. Now it opens up with My City featuring K. Michelle. Basically, he repping his city, talking about the things that go on in his city, his upbringing, and you definitely respect that track. I definitely thought that was dope. Also, some of these songs was played out through his little documentary that was released early this week. And K. Michelle, she wasn't bad on the record, but we definitely heard her sound more soulful and have more power in her vocals. So, I mean, it was a great vocal performance, but not her best. Moving on to Bible featuring Lil Wayne, basically saying his gun is his, and I don't really think that's a good look to be saying shit like that, but it is what it is. It was a good record, beat was dope. I enjoyed the hook. It's a street record, but something Lil Wayne said that was crazy. He said, I just rolled a blunt up in a page from the Bible. I'm like, wow, what the fuck? Like, why would Yo Gotti, co-sign that line and not tell that nigga to change it? Maybe I'm interpreting it wrong, but I was just like, wow. Of course, track 3, Down in DM, I don't fuck with that. Law featuring E40, a solid record. Basically just as a man having a code, you know what I mean? What not to do, what to do, shit like that. And E40 came through repping the Bay. Not a bad verse, and it kind of was a short verse, but I guess it fit for the mode of the album. Now we get to track 5, The Art of Hustle. If you remember on Free Crack 2, Bibby also used the same beat, but I definitely think that What You Live For record is a better record than The Art of Hustle, but I definitely respect the things that Yo Gotti was talking about in a record. I just think that the soulfulness of the sample and the production, it wasn't really sped up or slowed down. His vocals didn't match the, I guess, perfection of this beat. You feel me? He should have rapped these verses on a different beat. That record was just too soulful for the content, if you get what I'm saying. But still, I fuck with the song. It's real nigga. He talking some real shit in there. You know what I mean? It just throw me off that you listen to the sample and it's like, damn, his vocals don't match. Like he didn't give you that pain and that hunger that he was trying to convey in the emotion like Bibby did. You feel me? But that's just me. Going into track 6 is Smile featuring Timbaland. No, he was trying something different. From as soon as I heard the production, and then he shouted out Timbaland, and I was like, no, this is not good. Like, you know what I mean? And the content was whatever. One of them records, the same as on I Am. It's like, why are you reaching for these type records? Whatever. Come Up is another record, where it's like he's actually using auto-tune in a melodic form, basically about chicks making money on a come up. And I'm like, wow, no, that ain't, you know what I'm saying? That ain't it. Now we get into Pay the Price. Great song, his dealings in the street. I definitely love the instruments that's in his record. I thought the beat was on point, was dope, but the hook was kind of weak. It's just basically the good and the bad, you know what I mean? From Bible to Pay the Price, like you understand what's happening when you doing certain things, That's the thing I respect about Yo Gotti. He gives you the good shit about hustling, but he also gives you the bad shit, and you get that throughout this whole project. Going into track 8, which is the best song on here, Mama, basically talking about his upbringing. It's a dedication to his mom and his aunt. Very beautiful song. I love the sample, the soulfulness of it. Enjoyed the hook as well. Definitely a great record. To me, this is the best record on here. He just giving you the light and letting you know that, this is where I come from. I'm not just in the streets for a reason. This shit runs in my bloodline, which it really does if you watch the documentary. So shout out to him for giving me the good and the bad. Moving on to track 10, General featuring Future. I thought it was okay, but I'm listening to it like, damn, did Yo Gotti take a shot at Young Dolph at the last about 40 seconds of the record? If you listen to what he's saying, I'm like, I don't know if it's a shot, but yeah, once he mentioned the going back and forth and the little beef shit, yeah, definitely. Moving on to Imagine That. it's just basically his interpretation. If street niggas got, awards, if a shooter or a drug dealer got a Grammy or Oscar or any form of, award on that platform, and that's kind of dope. I was like, wow, that's kind of, that's is kind of dope in a way. Imagine that, like, you know what I mean? Like, what if a nigga got a Grammy for having, the best dope, best coke in the world? You know what I mean? But that's just my personal opinion. Going into Bank Teller, I was like, it's okay. It's just talking about that money talk in a way of he was a hood banker, basically. It's good, but it's like, come on. I mean, once you get past a couple of these records, it's kind of the same topics, just basically being reused on a different beat. Then we get into the two bonus tracks, 100 featuring Pusha T. I thought that was even okay. I'm like, man, I expected way more from these two because it's like both you niggas talk that drug talk, and we know Pusha got them bars. And I was just like, damn, this is not Pusha T best verse. He definitely on a Pusha T level as far as his lyrics. He dumped his lyrics and his verse down, to fit the mode of the song. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. I definitely thought this was gonna be a hard song, like dope as fuck. Like Pusha T and Yo Gotti on the record together? Oh hell no! Like Pusha T went harder when he was on a Rick Ross project before. Y'all remember the songs him and Ross did? Crazy records, right? Going into Love These Hoes featuring 2 Chainz. As soon as I seen this, I was like, I know I'm not gonna like it, and let it go. 20 seconds, nope, not fucking with it. I'm sorry, I can't do it. You know what I mean? Never understood. If you a hustler or a street nigga, y'all don't love bitches, but yet love these hoes. Yeah. And then the last track, Down in DM remix featuring Nicki Minaj. No, but her verse was funny to me. Overall, the Art of Hustle, it's a good record. Definitely I would say get the deluxe version. It comes with 13 records without the 2 bonus tracks. And going back to track 9, he definitely talked about his upbringing, the struggles, the hustle, like the good part of when his mom was hustling, and then the bad part is when you lose everything. So that's track 9, Mama. But overall, I give it a 7.5 out of 10. I like 7 of the 15 records, and that's kind of low. I know it is, but the reason why it gets such a high rating, because I know everybody gonna be like, oh, you don't like it for this reason. No, it's not saying I don't like it. It's just that y'all gotta remember, I Am came out in 2013. This album was supposed to come out in 2014, so it's been a couple years, and we still didn't get the album that we all was amped for. It's some filler tracks on here. I will say that I definitely would have cut this shit down to like 12 records. You know what I'm saying? Not even now. I would have cut it to 10 records. If he would have cut it to 10 records and put the best on here, I get it. I would have kept Down in the DM or scrapped the original and put the remix on here. I definitely would have got rid of the filler song for Future. That seems like a mixtape song. The Timberland joint, I would have got rid of that. That's a mixtape song. 100 with Pusha T, I would have kept it but changed the content. Bank Teller, that's a mixtape song. I would have got rid of that and just Love These Hoes mixtape song, get rid of that, and basically kept everything else. And he would have had a solid body of work because you gave us the street records. You gave us like the money talk records, and then I guess you go for the little commercial appeal, but you had that with Down in the DM. And what's the other record you can say is a fucking commercial? You don't even need another commercial record. You know what I mean? You could have just kept that going, the remix version of it, and there you go. But it's like the Art of Hustle. When you have a title like that, you kind of want to stick to it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you started off strong with the first couple of records, and then it got to Down in the DM, which I would have never put that up so high because I've never seen hustlers have time to be on Twitter and shit. And I would have damn near kept that at the end. You know what I mean? To have original and a remix on the same album didn't make sense. Would have kept Law there, Art of Hustle, Smile, get rid of that. Come Up, kept that. Pay the Price, kept that. Mama, kept that. General, get rid of that. Imagine That, keep that. Bank Teller, I guess you can keep that. 100, Love These Hoes, get rid of that, and that's your album. And I think he would have had a solid body of work. But that's just my interpretation of the album. That's just what I thought. Y'all let me know what you guys thought of the album. If you had to compare this album to I Am, which one you think is better? So far, I'm leaning toward I Am because that surprised me like a motherfucker. This, with all the interviews and the vlogs and the documentary, I kind of knew what it was about. Anything I didn't understand got explained in the documentary, and I think that kind of hurt the album because there was no surprises, basically. You know what I mean? But hey, that's just my personal opinion. Sorry that this video is so long. I'm going to go ahead and listen to King of Memphis next and check that out when it drops. All right, one.